We begin with a live look from Vatican City tonight following the election of Pope Leo XIV. We're learning new details this evening on the new pontiff's time in Flint. Thank you for joining us. I'm David Sackreiter in for Angie Hendershot. Then Father Robert Prevost spent at least a week at St. Matthew's Church in Flint back in the late 1990s. We lead off with ABC 12's Terry Camp. And Terry, this must be quite the talk at St. Matthew's.
It sure is, David. And current priest Anthony Strauss says he's still doing research on the new Pope's visit to Flint. It appears then Father Robert Prevost knew the priest at St. Matthew's back in the 1990s, Father Fred Tagert.
Well, this whole couple of weeks have been very surprising.
And the latest surprise for Father Anthony Strauss came this weekend when he learned of this picture. That's then Father Robert Prevost on the left following the baptism of a baby.
Did a little bit of digging in our baptism registers and found that he did in fact celebrate a baptism here in July of 1999.
This is the Skellett family with their baby daughter Elena. The new pope got to know the family as his Augustinian order ran the parish at the time. Father Prevost also knew Father Fred Tagert, who was the pastor at St. Matthew's for years.
In fact, he mentions him in one of his interviews with the Midwest Augustinians as a mentor.
Father Anthony says when Father Tagert left for a retreat, the future pope covered for him here in Flint. He says a visitor like Father Prevost at the time would have stayed in the rectory. It's not clear if the Chicago native made a return trip to St. Matthew's.
As his responsibilities would have made him with this being an Augustinian-run parish, it's not surprising if he may have been back on another occasion.
St. Matthew's hosted a pilgrimage from the Lansing area for a special mass. Father Anthony informed them Pope Leo was here at St. Matthew's for a time. As Father Anthony says, it's been a couple of weeks of surprises for the Catholic faith.
I never thought I would see an American pope in my lifetime, and then to find out it was someone who had connections here to St. Matthew in Flint. You know, we used to call Father Tom Firestone, who ran a number of the parishes in Flint, the Pope of Flint, but I think with now Pope Leo XIV, maybe he's more fittingly the new Pope of Flint, as we say.
Father Tagert died in 2023. We've been told that Pope Leo was back at St. Matthew's in the early 2000s as well, and we're trying to verify that.